Here I go. I'm sharing my screen, and yes, it should be visible now. All right. So again, we are on the same portal. The way we have started on day one. So everything out there we are going to do will be on this particular portal, right? So today we are going to learn storage space, right? So storage accounts, blobs, and there are multiple things that we can do or use in order to store. Okay. So here we go. So now see, it is like you don't have your own hard disks, or you have a lot of data and your hard disk is not enough to store your data. In such cases, you can push your data on cloud, and then that is something a personal use. Now, if you talk about industry, if you talk about IT companies, why they are going to use the storage is for storing the files that are uploaded by the customer, or storing some um, runtime data or logs, basically logs of the application, right? So in order to do such things, or to store some script so that that can be executed later for the automation, and such sort of applications that industrial people are going to use in cloud storage. Okay. So in Azure, so there are storage account is something which is the name that they have provided in order to store the data. Okay, storage account is something which will help you to store or create different storages. So I'm just clicking on storage account. I'm going inside. So this storage account is already created. So this is the one which was created at the time of creating the console. Okay, cloud shell storage has been created when we initially created allowed this particular window to create a storage for us in order to store the scripts that we are writing over here. For that we have created this one. Now today we will create our own. Okay, but before that, let me just give you a brief overview, like what exactly it is, why we need to do it, what is maximum capacity, and what all things that we can do along with or in this particular storage. Okay, I'm just quickly going on Azure official documentation. Of course, that is what we do. Okay, Azure storage, pricing, we, of course I want to show you the pricing, because see, and then any of the data that you're going to store, okay, so you will get charged for that. Okay, so we'll see the pricing as well in few minutes. So I have also added some things in the notes. So there is no cost for creating storage account, the account which I have shown you. Okay, this account, if I create any account, I'll not get charged. Okay, account in like it is going to create a space for you in a cloud. For creating, they will not charge you, but they will charge you when you start to interact with that storage account. What do I mean by interact? If I copy, if I copy something over there, if I trying to read something from the cloud storage, then I'll definitely going to get charged. Okay. So there are four types of storage in Azure. So basically, we have file, blob, queue, and table. Okay, we'll talk about everything in detail. First, let's understand like what is the need of cloud storage. First, introduction to Azure storage is something, the link I'm going to open. Blob storage, storage solution services. ठीक है. Refer to the official documentation. So if you could log in, so they will, you know, we can go and read the. Okay, so everything is in the same thing. Fine. Storage documentation, and mostly we use blob storage, and then we'll talk about that. Okay. So recently updated article. I'm not sure. 5 days before. This is 10. This is 12 is the date. So they have different. किसने मॉडिफाई किया है recently, and we are learning the latest thing, say as per the current day. ठीक है. So it is a storage platform that modern ये फालतू है, ठीक है, let it be. So I will talk to something which is very important. So once I store, I should be able to access the data. Okay, how can I access the data? Anywhere on HTTP or HTTPS via REST API. So those who are not aware about what exactly is a REST API, so it is RESTful APIs which can be accessed through your web applications or with the help of some client application like Postman or so. Okay, so that is the standard way of transferring the data from one application to another application. Okay, so when I'm going to store data in Azure, so Azure is a different system, and that stored data I'm going to access on client's machine. Like if I'm storing some PDF for accepting the agreements, like I'm building a software, and whoever is going to use the software, I want to accept them the privacy notice or some sort of agreement. So in such a cases, what I'll do, I'll store that agreement in the cloud, and as soon as somebody logs in, I'll show that agreement to the user after the login. And once user has accepted that, then user will be able to proceed. Like when you create new Google account or you anything that there is some privacy terms and all those things that we don't read it generally. We directly click OK and then we proceed. So that sort of document, if I wanted to showcase, I can store it in the cloud, and then whenever user logs in, because I'm not sure from where the user is going to log in. So but if I store it in cloud, that data will definitely get rerouted. Okay, and in future, if I want to change the agreement, I can update the existing document, and then the updated document will be shown to the user from the next time. So which means I do not need to change the code base every time I'm updating the document. Okay, so that is how this is a very common example I have shared. So there are a lot many other things that can be done with REST APIs. If I store some files on cloud and I want to give the user to access that, I can make use of REST APIs to get it done. So it can be accessed with HTTP, HTTPS as well, like typing the browser. I'm going to show you a demonstration how I can do that. Of course, so everything. So whatever we are going to learn theoretically, I'm going to show you a demonstration so that you guys will have a good understanding of. Okay. So in order to access those things, Azure Storage also offer a lot of libraries for .NET, Java, Python, and whatnot, right? So everything you do, there are certain libraries that they have SDKs. They call it to software development kits that Azure has provided, and not only for Azure Storage, for all Azure services. Azure Storage is one of the service, by the way. There are many. So we have covered EC2, then EC2, Azure Virtual Machines. Then we have covered Azure Directory. Then we have covered. We are covering Azure Storage, and going forward, app services. Then databases. So after this, we'll be moving towards the databases, cloud databases, or database as a service, basically. Okay. So we'll talk about that. So in after this thing. So let's try to understand the benefits of this storage, why we need it, what is the benefit. Secure first. A durable, available is okay, fine. So highly available is like they are having multiple zones, right? So we have seen Azure is having multiple zones. Whenever I'm going to create something, the location is central India because I created. But I have shown you multiple times that I can create in multiple locations. I'm just quickly showing you a demonstration, like how many zones are there. And so if you can create look at here, region I was talking about, right? So I click on region. So recommended it Central India, South Africa, Australia. And then if you scroll down, there are multiple, around 40 around regions are there. So out of this, you can choose anything where you want to store your data. You can also create replicas of your data, right? So there is an option to create a replica is global redundant storage. So whenever I'm going to create global redundant storage, it is going to create your 6 replicas of your application in different uh, regions. When I'm choosing locally redundant storage, it is going to create your 3 replicas in a same region. Okay. So basically, at any point of time, if some machine fails, we will the Azure has make sure that you will get the data. So that is what then zone redundant is like in different countries that showcasing data. I'm not sure how many copies, but that is more advanced, basically creating multiple copies of your data and then making sure that you are at any point in time you are not missing out on uh, the data will be always available basically with you, whatever you have stored, right? So this was the example I was trying to share with high availability. Then the data is very secure. Of course, you will see when I upload and when I'll try to access after a few minutes, we will see that it is not accessible. It can be only accessible with certain keys. Hmm? So security keys are there, so that will help us to access the data. Then it is scalable. Like today, I have 1 TB of data. Tomorrow, I wanted to increase it to petabytes or terabytes or anything. Can be done very easily, just with one click. That's it. Hmm? It is managed by Azure, so Azure handles all hardware related updates, issues, and everything for you. I don't need to worry. If hard drive crash, Azure will repair. I don't need to care. Okay. So it is accessible from anywhere with the help of HTTP, but of course can't be accessible to public. It is a secure one, so you need to have your authentication keys. Basically, SAS keys is something software authentication or security or secure authentication software or something. I'm not sure the full form. We'll talk about. So that key is required. Basically, SAS key is required in order to access the uh, data from Azure. Okay, so Azure Data Services, as I mentioned already. So here there are many, but we don't need to go in every detail. Like we have blobs. I already covered that point over here. So we have blobs. So let me just put it in that sequence. ये sequence में उल्टा लिखा शायद. Blob, files, queue and table. ठीक है. एक second. Blob, file, queue and table. ये उल्टा हो गया. एक second ना. Now it's correct. Hmm. So Blob is optimized for storing massive amount of unstructured data. See, this is very important. Unstructured data is like you want to store any data in any format. There is no structure like table. Okay, that table-like structure is there here, but it is semi-structured. This is semi-structured data in table, but we'll talk about that. First, try to understand blobs. Okay, blob is like a space on cloud. Okay, so where you can store any type of data, video, photo, text file, any sort of file, everything which you want that can be stored. So, okay, so it is mainly used for data analytics, big data analytics or something like that, through data lake storage. Okay, data lake storage is something different. Massive amount of unstructured data used for data analytics. Okay, I'm just copying the secondary point, or I'm copying both the points so that you guys can refer to it. So we need to include support for big data analytics through data lake storage. So data lake storage is like storing a huge amount of data. So data lake word itself, you get to know like the data which is huge. And with that, Hadoop related softwares can be used on that, and then you can do the operation. See, huge data is heavy data, like thousands of images or lakhs of text files. Basically, that sort of massive amount of unstructured data. That is what the statement which I earlier added over there. इसका size 12 हो गया. Just a second. Let me just reduce it. So everything will be in same format. Okay, so that is one. File is for storing huge files basically. Now this large file. So here it can store. We can store multiple files and any number. But this file data or file storage is basically used for storing large files. Now how like it stores till 5 petabytes something is the size. We'll see at the time of creation. We're going to do the operation on that. Okay, so it manages file shares for cloud and on-premise deployment. Okay, so if you want to upload a huge file, and then if you want to share, storing is sharing. Sharing point I already put in there. So you manage file share for cloud and on-premise deployment. If you want to push on cloud, can be used. If you want to access that file into on-premise, can be file storage can be used. Okay. So then we have queue used for storing the messages, and it is a messaging system basically. So the WhatsApp and all other messaging platform that we are using. Okay, so these are I'm not sure whether they are using Azure, but they are using such sort of storage mechanism. The one which we are having over here. So Azure queues are used for storing the messages if you are trying to send a lightweight data basically. So that is something we store over here. Messaging storage for reliable messaging between application component. So here we store the messages, and that is what the application of this particular queue. So 1, 2, 3. Last table stores unstructured stores data in unstructured way. So there is no fixed sequence. That is when it is no SQL data it is going to store for us. ठीक है? अरे नीचे गया. ठीक है, I'll adjust. Okay, no SQL data is something it is going to store, and we'll see everything in detail after we create storage account. First we need to create storage account. Okay, so that is the first thing. Then we need to use Blob. Then we're going to create, we are going to see file, either one of them. Actually we are going to see not everything in detail because there is no sense making huge storages and spending. Okay, whenever one more thing for you guys, since we are learning. So if you create anything along with me, try to make sure that you are deleting it. Okay. So virtual machines, then Azure directory users, whatever I create, I delete it once we are done with the session. Okay. So you take care of yourself so that you will not get billed. So I'm having a dashboard. If I go over here, it shows me my bill, and that is when I'm tracking it. So if you have added your cost, it's good. And then that is how I'm making sure if any service is running and costing me something, I'm closing it on my side. So you guys also take the precaution from your side. Go ahead and close that thing. Okay. Okay. It might have finally reached 200 wala cost. Okay. All right. So let me just go back to the Azure services. So these are the all resources which are open. I have VNet open. I have network security group, two network security groups open. I can close one. I don't need. Then I have one storage. CHG is for storing the data. Storage account basically, and then network watcher is for central India. Okay. Net. Yeah. So let me just quickly network security group को close करने दो NHG. So there are two which I don't need. Actually, both I don't need because they are created for Azure virtual machines, and I'm not sure if it costs anything to me, but it's better to close is something which I understand. Energy task pipelines logs to interface network cost you in very minute detail actually. Only when see it is very interesting. So if you create and store it there, it will not cost you anything. But as soon as you start using it, it will cost. Any request that is going through this network storage, then you are going to get charged for that. Okay. I can delete this network storage which I don't need as of now, so that I'll have rest resources which are running. ये वाला रहने दो. ठीक है, I'm going back into my storage. Since I have changed my doc this particular option from my settings, I'm able to see something like this. तो मैं यहाँ पे भी ढूंढ सकता हूँ. I can go and search for storage accounts. You can see the option over here, or you can directly search for storage account. Either of things will work. Currently, I'm clicking on here. So this is already existing storage. Let me just help you going inside this and understand the rest of the four different types of storage available, and then we'll create our own. So this is earlier one which was created automatically. I have not created. I'm going inside this. Okay, so as I mentioned, I can upload file into storage account directly if I want to, but it doesn't make any sense. I'll be able. I'm going to add the data into the container. Okay, here I go. Now what is container? It is a blob container. Okay, I can create a container, and inside that container I can add data so that I'll have a separate overview for that. So this is a container I can create. So I need to provide the data, and then that's it. Private we cannot access since the storage account is something created which is with the privacy. So I will not be able to access anything over here. So I can use some access mechanism to get the access of the data I'm storing. So I'm not going to create any, or I'm not going to upload anything in my existing storage account. Instead, I'll create my own storage account, a new one. Okay, and then in that we will be uploading our data, some files, and then I'll show you how can I access the files with the help of those token SSI tokens. Okay, so containers are there. So okay, let me just go you with overview one by one option at a time. So right now this particular storage is in the resource group RG. Okay, everything will be under RG. So at the time of creation of storage group, I can choose another RG as well. RG is like resource group. Inside that resource group, we are going to create the services or the resources basically. Okay, so now where this RG is there, so performance of the storage is standard, replication is locally redundant. See, as less as possible. I'm also going to create the same. Account kind storage v2 general purpose storage provision substitute created on, देखो it is created on first day 11th को create हुआ है morning 9:28. 11th is like the day 2 of our training. So it has created on the morning that day, and ये अभी से date is there. Subscription ID Azure subscription ID storage का that is there. Now in the properties it is showing like we can have blob storage. अभी यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं है. File service networking में some settings and security like require secure transfer. Yes, it is enabled. Storage access key enabled, so I can get the access keys, and then through access keys I can use. So TLS version we have to set every detail at the time of creating the service. There go quick service, everything is there. Now I'll talk about customer managed keys and all other things, so that we'll discuss. Okay, this is a basically a overview, so you can also see it in folder like structure. देखो अभी तो currently it is just a description of it. So I can Azure Open Storage Explorer. You can download if you don't have it. I don't have it, I guess. ठीक है, I can see it in local environment. Storage Explorer. ठीक है, currently we don't have that Storage Explorer, so I can see it in a different way. I wanted to see the folder like structure, right? So we have storage browser over here instead of Explorer. I'm just closing. I have storage browser over here. Okay, so now the rest of the command, like you can delete the account, you can move it to something else. Like if you have another resource group or another subscription, you can move the current storage. Refresh, open in mobile. You can also access. By the way, I came to this point. Azure is having their own Android application. Okay, so if you face like no, I'll not log into my laptop. I'm traveling somewhere and I want to notify or understand what how my services are working. So you can go and download the Azure application. Okay, Azure Android application, and then log in using same credentials, and then you will have everything on your fingertips. Hmm? So it is available on Play Store as well. Hmm? So exactly same whatever you do on your web app, so, say exactly same you can create the storage. See ये virtual machine का है यहाँ पे, and then you can have access to PowerShell, you can have access to Bash, and everything that you do is available. Hmm? So a really nice tool if your task is to daily work on this particular Microsoft Azure cloud. So if you do not want to miss on any notification, recommended thing कि बाबा ये होना चाहिए, ठीक है. So if you click on open in mobile, so it will show like scan करो and आ जाओ something like this, ठीक है. So I don't want to do it right now. So it will open in Chrome, or if you have Android application installed, it will open in Android application, okay. So we are not going to go in that particular stage. Now in activity log I can see is if I perform any of the task on this particular storage, एक ही बार create किया था वही है, then after that there is nothing. So tag I have not assigned any, I guess, so that time it has created by default Azure Cloud Shell wala tag. If there are problems, I can check access, who has access to this particular Azure account. We can see कि role assignment किसको किया है, there is no owner, roles owner of the application has full access, rest of the like this administrator कौन है वगैरह वगैरह. So data we will be able to, so Akshay, so this is my system administrator is having the access. I can create one more administrator if I wanted to with the help of add button. ठीक है, so we can provide access to the users like we had done. So I was talking about this data storage browser. So it will show you like a folder like structure. Now here the option is like कि आपको blob को explore करना है, file को explore करना है, queue को. Now these are the data storage options. ठीक है, the container is like blob container. हाँ, container यहाँ पे बैठ नहीं रहा था इसलिए नहीं डाला शायद उन्होंने, but it is a blob container, the first storage type. Then we have file share, then we have queue, then we have table. ठीक है, तो when you are going to go with file storage, it is we can see कि देखो इसका फाइल स्टोरेज डेटा स्टोर्ड इज 5 GB. एक फाइल स्टोर है यहाँ पे. quickly I'm going back. recently viewed. ठीक, ब्लॉब कंटेनर के साथ जाता है. ठीक है, ब्लॉब कंटेनर में there is nothing. I can add a container and I can push the data. फाइल शेयर में there is a file which is stored. Transaction optimized file है. So this file is having some data with the commands that we have created or fired. क्लाउड कंसोल में जो भी कमांड मैंने फायर किए थे तो वो सारे कमांड यहाँ पे है. आई कैन एक्सेस इट जस्ट लाइक द फाइल स्टोरेज. इसके अंदर जा रहा है उसके बाहर आ रहा है, कुछ नहीं. सो दिस इज ओनली दिस इज 5 GB का साइज. क्या है वो मुझे भी देखने दो यार. सो नाउ सी दिस इज द फाइल acc.image. if I go and try to access this file from my browser directly, it will show me an access denied, invalid header value, and I'll not be able to access it. Now how to access this, we'll see to it in few minutes. So this is one of the file that I'm showing you from existing stuff. I will upload. Basically I can download as well. I do not want to, but I can access by providing the access. here देखो generate SAS, this was the key I was talking about. If I generate SAS key, so which is what key ones, so कहाँ से sign हुआ ये भी बता दूंगा, HTTPS only, so generates token and URL, so also it will generate URL for me. So I'm just clicking on generate and basically it has generated a SAS URL for me. I'm just copying this SAS URL and instead of this I'm just going to put the new URL. Now let me just show you, like this has been encoded with this particular key and the first URL is same till.jpg, it will be same. See, akshay.image till this the URL is same. After question mark it has added some extra key. Okay, if I click on refresh, sorry copy enter. Okay, it is not allowing me to see that particular data, I guess, right now. So let me just quickly see why it is doing that. SAS URL and it should, okay, download हुआ ये, okay, दो बार download हुआ basically, 5 GB download नहीं करूँगा मैं, cancel. It is very huge image file, img file, so that is when it is, see, दोनों बार भी download हुआ ये, so 2 times I hit, first time I was showing and second time I did it manually. Okay, so I started getting the files in the over here which I don't want to download. 5 GB का है, मेरा Wi-Fi खत्म हो जाएगा. Of course we have limited, but it will take a lot of time. Okay, so with this particular SAS token I can easily go and download. So this is applicable for all the different types of storages. Blob में भी वही होगा, file share में भी वही होगा. So file share का फायदा यही कि you can store big files. In Blob you can store more files. That is the differentiation between both. In queues it is very similar, like it is we are going to store the messages, so that is what the use of queues. In table we are going to store the structure, or semi-structured data, you can say. You can add a table and you can give I'll show you it with our newly created data or newly created storage account, not here. So this is Azure managed storage for my consoles, so I'll not go and modify or update anything into that. Okay, so these are the storage space. I can explore it file by file. If I want to move the storage from one location to another, मतलब इधर से उधर डालना है, इधर से उधर डालना है, so I can easily do some script or the automation. Storage mover is something the name. So you can copy it from cloud to computer and computer to cloud, anything, both the ways it can be done. So these are containers tables we have already seen. So into that, so this is something called as access key. नेटवर्किंग पे भी है, इन्होंने एक्सेस दिया होगा शुरू में तो पता नहीं. एनेबल फॉर ऑल नेटवर्क, दिस सेम थिंग वी आर गोना डू. माइक्रोसॉफ्ट नेटवर्क राउटिंग ये भी हम करेंगे. आई विल एक्सप्लेन दिस 2 पॉइंट्स इन द नेटवर्किंग. फ्रंट डोर एंड सीडीएन भी है यहाँ पे. सो एक्सेस विल बी फ्रॉम Azure front door. Basically the create profile if you want to access new endpoints and all. So here is a very important aspect which is called as access key. So this is my storage account and it has provided 2 access keys to me, key and connection string. So you can show and you can access that keys. Now try to understand. So these access keys are generated or given in order to access my files stored on the Azure storage from programmatical way, or from in order to authenticate that. So now in last in previous example which I have shown you while downloading that image files, so those are not image files actually, those were operating system ka image, I believe. So those are not the normal JPG wala image. Okay, so what I was talking about, these keys are used to authenticate or encrypt the SAS wala key, and that key we are using going forward in order to access the data. So now why they have provided 2 keys? Suppose so these keys can be updated, can be modified. So if you want a new key, you can rotate, click on rotate key, and new current key will be immediately invalid and not recoverable. Suppose before doing this operation, if I use this key in some code and then I reset, then I rotate the key and I said yes, new key will be generated, and from that day old key and all the mechanism, authentication mechanism with that old key will stop working. Okay, so you need to be very sure, like you can update and then update at the code level as well, so that can work, but as soon as you refresh, old key will be invalid only. Okay, new key will. Now why they have given the 2 keys? Suppose you are invalidating this one, so at that particular point of time this will be activated, so you can rely on the second key and then once this is updated, you can update this one, and then you can in the code I'm talking about, update this over here, copy it, paste it in your code or application, and then application will work fine again, because or will, if it has both the keys, it will work fine always basically. So that is when this is recovering, you can use this, and this is recovering, you can use this basically. That is what the option, that so that you will have zero downtime. Hmm? So your application will not be down for any single second. That is when they have given the two keys, and you are supposed to use both of them if you want to have all time up application. Hmm? You can share the access basically with your within your file systems. So here you can generate SAS connecting string. So this is what I was talking about. So now if you want to share the access, okay, so the full form abhi मेरे को मिला sorry, shared access signatures, SAS का, shared access signature, that is what I was talking about. So this particular is a URL that grants access, restricted access. Whoever is having this signature, they can access it. Now you can decide कि आपको which service, for which service you want access, which type you want access. I can select all. Then what permissions you want. Like suppose I want to provide only read only access to my one of my colleague. Okay, not create, not update, not process. List भी कर सकते हो, add नहीं कर सकते. Immutable storage, permanent delete करनी देना है. ठीक है. If I want to provide only this much access, so then I can select from here, and that access can be also limited. So from today 9:34 to 5:34 p.m. like for only one day, I don't know how many hours, 8 hours basically. So and according to Indian timestamp, that is Chennai, Kolkata, Mumbai, New Delhi. So इस timestamps के हिसाब से I'll provide the access to anybody with that generated key. I can generate it to authentication URL, and then that can be shared with my friends or my colleagues, and then they can access it. Okay, so that is the whole process or structure of authentication mechanism of storage. Okay, see, very limited. Like after this, after 5:34 on 5:35, they will not be able to access basically. Okay, so this way I can do, and then I can generate a SAS key connection string, and then I have got connection string, I have got SS token, I have got blob service का URL. So अगर मेरे को चाहिए तो I can copy the URL files, file service का. Now what do I mean by SAS URL and files blob का URL and file का URL? So it is combination of this endpoint connection string plus SAS token. Basically that is the combination of for every, there are 4 types of storage, right? Blob, file service, queue, and table. So for every storage they have created a URL, so that you guys need not to be worried. So that is what they have already provided. So with the help of these URLs, URIs basically it contain authentication token and everything. So you can go and access the storage. So access can be from the browser as well as access can be from the URL. Blob में कुछ नहीं होगा, मैं quickly copy कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे and quickly showing you कि blob में क्या है. Empty होगा, so it is not going to show me anything. Invalid query parameter ही बोल रहा है हर बार. I'm not sure. Sorry, we'll upload our file और single file का storage मैं आपको दिखाऊंगा. How can I access a single file which is uploaded, and that's how we'll move forward. ठीक है. Data management में data protection है, then replication है. You want to configure the storage account, you can do. हाँ, data lake. So इसके लिए update लगेगा. We are not going to do that. So endpoints inside say who is accessing my data, alert say if file size is getting exceeded certain limit, and then there are resources, health, resource health, administrator, automation related tasks, and multiple things are there. Okay, this is just an overview of existing created service or existing created Azure storage account. I'm going to show you by creating a new account, new storage account. So this is what we are going to do. So it has multiple steps actually. So I'm just clicking on create new. So subscription is free trial. So there are again, so exactly same the way we have created virtual machines. Multiple settings you need to provide, and then we can go and access. Then we can go and play with the store data that we have stored over there. Okay. So resource group यहाँ पे देखो एक ही, I can create a new resource group if I wanted to, and then you need to specify कि which subscription will take, which region it will be, and then how much cost. Okay, हाँ, with the cost I just realized अरे अपन cost discuss करना भूल गए. ठीक है. Also along with this there is some extra additional storage which comes in lower cost, which is Azure Net Apps. It has additional hard disks that we can mount, that can be done. So so I'll add this link so that you guys can refer more to this. So always refer the standard documentation, guys. I do not recommend any time to refer to any of the blogs available on the internet. Always refer to the standard documentation. प्राइसिंग, हाँ प्राइसिंग के लिए बात करेंगे, अभी रुको. Azure storage. If you want more things to learn, they have provided documentation. They have provided in really nice way, so you don't need to go anywhere basically. चलो मैं प्राइसिंग पे जा रहा हूँ. So I'm just quickly opening this link. इसको लिंक क्यों नहीं हुआ? अभी हुआ. So I'm just quickly opening the pricing wala link. I'm just want to show you like how the pricing is going to change as soon as you modify. So this is blob storage pricing, and everything falls under similar category. So now see, they're showing you pay as you go is the model, right? So if I want to show you the storage for blobs, so file structure is hierarchical, flat I don't want. Locally redundant storage, West India I have selected. Currency Indian में करके देखते जरा. हाँ मेरे को कैलकुलेशन करने में अच्छा लगेगा. चलो now, so it is showing now. Suppose I'm selecting pay-as-you-go model and I want to store 5 TB तक का data, 5 terabytes. Okay, so there are types of the storage now. Premium storage, hot storage, cold storage, and archive storage. And then there are so we'll talk about this only first, and then we'll move towards the next option that are available. Premium is something we are not going to worry about, so ये तो बहुत महंगा है, right? 18 rupees per GB per day, per month, sorry, 18 GB per GB per month is the costing, which is very high actually, because I'll store so much of data over here, so it will be very costly. And then we have hot storage, so it is 1 rupees per GB. Okay, so now in my storage account it is 5 GB data stored, right? So this is one of the storage account earlier मैंने show किया था file image वाला, तो 5 GB already है. So I'm already getting charged 5 rupees per month. ठीक है, it is in hot space. We are going to select the option at the time of creating storage account. Then we have cool storage, which cost you 1.20. देखो there is 66 rupees and 66 paisa, 1.66 rupees, 1.28, 24. So it is much cheaper. The cool storage is much cheaper, and we don't have anything in archive. We'll discuss about this. But even though it is cheaper, the cool storage is cheaper for storing the data, but for accessing the data, the cool storage cost more. ठीक है, let me just quickly show you. So reserved capacity वाला है, इसके लिए 1 year का है. Operation and data transfer, इसके बारे में बात करते हैं. So for hot, if I want to write anything per 1000 operations, it is going to cost me 5 rupees. But for cool, if I want to write, it is going to cost me 10 rupees. Okay, double the amount. Similarly, if you want to read, ये write का हुआ, read के लिए मुझे 0.4 rupees, यहाँ पे again double 1 rupees. So similarly, you can go and reiterate the multiple parameters. Data retrieval यहाँ पे free करके देते हैं, यहाँ पे 0.8 rupees लेते. So basically, in and all, it is going to be same thing for you, because see at the end I'm not only going to store data. अगर store ही करना तो मैं external hard disk ले लेता हूँ ना. और there are multiple options to just store that we have archive, कि मुझे store करना है, मुझे वापस लेना नहीं है. Archive is like creating a zip and accessing it after a very long time. So that is something which is only for storage. But if I'm going to perform some operations, it is always recommended to store the data in hot storage. That is what I'm going to do at the time of creation of storage, because cool storage is like less accessible, and that is when it is costing you less amount at the time of storage, but costing more amount at the time of accessing the data. Okay, so basically it is recommended, but if you are if anybody is do not want to access the data very frequently, then if not very frequently, then it is recommended. But if data access is frequent, you should always use the hot storage. ठीक है, प्रीमियम वाले पे जाएंगे नहीं. ये it is, of course, premium means really fast, really quick, and then really secure, not secure, really accessible data redundant storage. So but it costs you a lot. Will not go in that particular storage, because देखो 1 rupees किधर and then 80 rupees किधर. Huge difference, almost 20 times, which we cannot Now again, this storage or the amount changes as soon as you change the redundancy. If I create, ये locally था 3 कॉपीज, जोन रिडंडेंट कराओ 6 कॉपीज, देखो 6 कॉपीज, ओके सिलेक्टेड रीजन में अवेलेबल नहीं है, लाइक वेस्ट इंडिया में जोन रिडंडेंट हो नहीं सकता, ठीक है। अपन जरा यूएस में जाते हैं, सेंट्रल यूएस में जा रहा हूँ। सी सेंट्रल यूएस में पहले मैं लोकल रिडंडेंट दिखाता हूँ। लोकल रिडंडेंट इज 1.4 रुपीज, हॉट का बात कर रहे हैं। सेंट्रल यूएस में लोकल रिडंडेंट 1.4 एंड क्रिएटिंग जोन रिडंडेंट, तो 1.9 हुआ, 5 पैसा इंक्रीज। So as soon as you create increase global redundant, देखो 3 रुपीज, ऑलमोस्ट डबल द लोकल वाला। हाँ, इसमें भी ज्यादा है। सो बेसिकली एज सून एज यू मूव फॉरवर्ड इट इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज द कॉस्ट। सो बेसिकली लोकल redundant इज इनफ for small companies, small applications, and where some POCs or kind of steps for development and testing or learning purpose. And it's not only redundant wala stage or redundancy wala option, even regions affect a lot. यहाँ पे देखो सेंट्रल यूएस में ये 1.4 रुपीज बोल रहा है, राइट। सो ईस्ट यूएस में मैं गया तो 1.7 रुपीज बोला, राइट, 3 पैसा ज्यादा, right? So as soon as you change those regions as well, it is going to change. Like देखो, I'm going to go to the different region, different redundancy zone itself. US का छोड़ के बाहर आते हैं कहीं पे। Suppose I'm going in India only again. किधर इंडिया? इंडिया देखो 1.7 था यूएस में, इंडिया में आ रहा हूँ मैं 1.6 हुआ। सेंट्रल इंडिया में भी, इंडिया में भी फर्क है। सो इफ आई गो सेंट्रल इंडिया इज 1.6, South India 1.9, very heavy, very costly, not very but costly basically. So if I go in 1.6, 1.9, West India में जा रहा हूँ 1.6 again. Okay, so I guess these two are, Central India and West India are same, 1.6, 1.6. Okay, if I go in South India, then it is going to cost me more. Well, of course I will not go and create my storage in that particular region. So you need to choose it wisely. And then again, if this cost is increasing, of course the read and write cost is also going to increase for that particular region. So you can, since we understand this INR wala very easy, so I'll choose it. You can also choose it from dollar perspective and do it. Same calculation में same ही आएगा, ठीक है। I guess you must have gotten a rough idea, right? हाँ, so if I choose this sort of storage, I'm going to get cost more. So if going forward, when you will become a cloud architect or cloud engineer going forward after completing the AZ900, 104 and multiple certifications, and you will join the company, that time you will be the decision maker ki which type of virtual machine I want to create, in which region I want to create, what sort of storage I want to attach to that particular region. So same costing will be there when you are going to create databases as well. So databases may be types है, we are going to see it next whenever it comes into our syllabus or the topics. That time I'll also show you, अरे इस type का database किया तो इतना cost है. So that is how you need to manage the cost as per the requirement of the organization. जो भी आपके कंपनी में requirement होगा उसके हिसाब से you can organize it, arrange it. ठीक है। So before choosing any of the services, I would recommend to go with the cost. So, हर एक का costing है, प्राइसिंग में अगर आप गए, ठीक है। सो दिस इज प्राइसिंग वाला थिंग्स। इफ यू स्टोरेज में ब्लॉब्स है, बट वैसे हर एक इसका प्राइसिंग है, ठीक है। यू गो एंड चूज एनी सर्विस, वर्चुअल मशीन का प्राइसिंग है, ऐप सर्विस का प्राइसिंग है, डेटाबेस का प्राइसिंग में, एसक्यूएल कॉस्मोस सबका प्राइसिंग है। कुबरनेटिस का सर्विस किया उसका प्राइसिंग मिलेगा आपको, अजूर फंक्शन यूज किया उसका प्राइसिंग आपको मिलेगा। सो गो एंड रीड द, गो थ्रू द प्राइसिंग। वर्चुअल मशीन का हमने देखा नहीं उस दिन, डायरेक्टली बना दिया, बट यू जस्ट नीड टू गो एंड चेक कि मैंने उबंटू लिया तो देखो इसमें फर्क है। अगर मैंने उबंटू लिया तो अलग प्राइसिंग, अगर मैंने विंडोज लिया तो अलग प्राइसिंग। सो दैट इज द डिफरेंस। हाँ, विंडोज ओएस अगर लिया तो प्राइसिंग विल चेंज। सो यू नीड टू नोट इट डाउन। एक्चुअली ये रिफ्रेश हो जाता है पेज। सो देखो $7 आ गया, मैं इंडियन रुपीज में कर सकता हूँ और फिर उसके बाद अपन बात करते हैं। सो दैट यू नीड टू, यू योरसेल्फ नीड टू गो एंड वैलिडेट कि क्या कर रहे हैं। एनरोल प्राइसिंग ऑप्शन, हाँ पे एज यू गो ही चाहिए। हाँ, पे एज यू गो, परचेस ऑप्शन, प्राइस, वर्चुअल मशीन का चाहिए है। इधर तो लेके गया उनको, दूसरी जगह पे लेके गया। ठीक है, रुको एक मिनट। आई एम जस्ट गोइंग बैक टू माय पेज। हियर इज आई वांटेड टू सी द प्राइसिंग एंड ये अरे वापस रुपीज चेंज हुआ, ये बाय डिफॉल्ट रुपीज में नहीं रहता क्या? ठीक है। So basically it is like 600 rupees for a basic one, zero RAM, temporary storage बिल्कुल नहीं, इनबिल्ट जो भी स्टोरेज आपको मिलेगा, बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर। So it is 600, it is costing me for Windows OS. if I go and choose it to the Linux OS, Ubuntu और CentOS, 600 का कम हो जाएगा. किधर गया? एक मिनट, ये यूएस में हो जाता है यार हर बार. इंडिया देखो 500 हुआ, 100 रुपीज सेव्ड है ना. सो दैट इज व्हाट द ओएस कैटेगरी. इफ यू चेंज सर्विसेज में अगर मैंने स्टैंडर्ड ये प्रीमियम वगैरह लिया तो और कॉस्ट बढ़ जाएगा. अगेन रीजन, इफ यू चेंज द रीजन, इंडिया में बने तो कुछ अलग कॉस्ट, यूएस में बने तो कुछ अलग कॉस्ट, एंड दैट इज हाउ इट इज गोना अफेक्ट. सो प्लान्स भी आप देख सकते हो कि सेविंग्स प्लान, रिजॉर्ट प्लान, 3 इयर्स, जो भी 3 साल के लिए लेना है तो कुछ कम. देखो व्हेन यू गो एंड रिजर्व इट फॉर 3 इयर्स, cost automatically goes down. Cost automatically goes down for 3 years. Okay, basically here ये दिखा रहा है यहाँ पे. सेविंग्स प्लान पे अगर 3 साल का लिया तो 299, मतलब हाफ ऑफ द कॉस्ट. 54% सेविंग्स. ठीक है, बेसिकली दैट इज समथिंग इट इज अलाउिंग यू, बट 3 साल के लिए कौन लेगा, क्या ही करना है अपने को. ठीक है. So that is how you should go and read the pricing first, understand it कि किसमें कितना cost है, and then you take the final decision कि where to create the VM. That day when we did the practical of virtual machines, we did it just like whatever comes in my mind, and then randomly we did it. I hope you also practice by yourself. ठीक है, but it is like, it is very vague, or it is very before considering the prerequisites. It was I was trying to help you to understand the services की क्या क्या है. Now the goal was not to show you the price, not to, because फिर आप confuse हो जाते हैं इसलिए. ठीक है, चलो let's quickly create a Azure account, storage account. So I have project details like subscriptions, free trial. दूसरा option है नहीं मेरे पास currently. Then this is resource group. I want to give the name. So this name should be unique because the data that they are going to provide is available with a URL, right? So we few minutes back we saw that there is a URL. Storage tech, ऐसे कुछ है क्या? है, ये नहीं होगा. लोअर केस नंबर्स मस्ट बी नॉट एंड. ओके, ये बोल रहे भाई साहब आप एक स्पेशल कैरेक्टर नहीं डाल सकते, स्मॉल लेटर्स भी चाहिए उनको. स्टोरेज टेक तो चल जाएगा ना. हाँ अरे हाँ ठीक है ना बाबा, स्टोरेज टेक एम ये चल गया. This is okay. So this is storage tech, and the name I have created because it is going to create a globally accessible URL. So you need to provide unique name globally, जो अभी पूरे वर्ल्ड में किसी ने यूज नहीं किया. That sort of name I have given over here. So region Asia Pacific Central India, because that is what my default region of my account. So that is when it is showing Central India. Deploy to an edge zone, I don't want to do so. There are options to choose the storage. Standard करना है, premium करना है, I'm going to choose standard. Then redundancy zone है, I'm going to keep it locally redundant. I don't want to get cost more. So that is what the basic detail I need to choose. If I go in advanced, so here is option to require secure transfer for REST APIs. So already take that. So it means I can access data to REST APIs if I wanted to. Allow anonymous access, no. So anybody cannot access like anonymously. I need to know who is accessing. I need to know who is performing the options. So I'll not check that box anyways. Enable storage account key access. So the keys which we discussed, those two keys, and then those two keys helps us to create some SAS key, again SAS key. So signature, so authentication signature basically. So that this option, if I unchecked, I'll not be able to generate the keys. Of course, I can edit it later, but it is better to have it. Default to Azure directory authorization in Azure portal. Now, if anybody is having Azure directory ka access, that person should be able to access my storage account as well. So I'm checking it. Like anybody, if I create a new user, like yesterday I created a new user of Omkar to my system in my Azure account. So if Omkar logs in, he should be able to access my storage account. That is what the checkbox I have given. So TLS security wala version, latest version is already selected. So I don't need to do anything over there. Permitted scope for copy operations. Who can copy? Then there is from any tenant, any store location, or from any storage account, I can copy data into this particular storage account is what I allow. Then यहाँ पे ये हुआ security का advancement in hierarchical namespace. I do not want to enable hierarchical namespace like a folder like structure. C drive users can the this and all that. So I don't need to, if I enable this I get more options basically. That is when I don't want to enable. ठीक है. So access protocols फिर नहीं लगेंगे यहाँ पे. Then we have blob storage. Blob storage के लिए क्या करना है? Allow, see, storage account has all the different types of storage. One storage account can have blob storage, Azure files, even tables का भी होता है नीचे. So ये I guess इसको create करने के बाद आएगा. नहीं, ठीक है, टेबल वगैरह का नहीं आ रहा है, क्यू एंड टेबल का नहीं आ रहा है, बट basically these two, blob storage and Azure files, are by default coming in. And here is the option I was talking about, hot storage and cool storage. A few minutes back I have shown you the pricing. Okay, now if I create cool, I'll cost less for storing, but for basically if I want to access, it will cost you more. So उन्होंने दिया है यहाँ पे, so try to read. Frequent hot storage is for frequently accessed data on day-to-day basis user scenario. Cool storage like infrequent access if you want to back up the data or so. In that case, you can move the data into the cool storage. Currently, I need hot storage, so I'll keep that way. So Azure enable large file shares. Azure files अगर मैंने enable किया तो large file share वो allow करता है. So large file share account do not have the ability to convert geo redundant. ठीक है ना, that is fine. And upgrade is permanent. ठीक है, अभी अपन blob storage के लिए लिमिट करते हैं. I'll not go to the Azure files. So similar, like here storing multiple files, here storing big files. इतना ही है different. ठीक है. I'm going to networking, enable public access. ये करना ही है. Otherwise, I'll not be able to access the file which I uploaded. If not, I can access the data from my network only within my virtual network of Azure. Outside that network, I'll not be able to. So if you want to disable, फिर गए. If you disable, you can provide an endpoint, like you can create your tunnel between your machine to the cloud or that particular storage that can access, but which I don't want to do right now. It will take more time, and even for understanding the concept, it will take huge efforts. ठीक है, so we are enabling the public access. I don't want to do so that I can access it. Of course, even though if I make it publicly accessible, not everybody can go and access. You need keys, then only you can access. ठीक है. So networking route. So network routing is like there are two options: Microsoft network routing or internet routing. Like basically, if I store the data in US region and I'm trying to access it from India, so like all the data which is getting transferred from my machine to our US network, US region to my region, it will be through the normal internet or through the Microsoft network is what it is option giving the option. So Microsoft network is like from US region, it will go to the Microsoft private network and it will reach to India's region of Microsoft through a private network, which is not accessible outside the world or hackers cannot intercept. And from once it reach to India region, then from India region, it will travel to my computer with public internet. Okay. So that is what option will get the option if I choose Microsoft network routing. If not, if I choose internet routing, in that case, the data will be publicly available from like US region, say it will get available on public internet from there itself. From public internet, it come to India, and then from India, it will come to my system. So data is more exposed to the public internet, and when it is on internet, like there are hackers sitting and then they're trying to modify, update and do a lot of things. Okay, so that is what I'm going to select the Microsoft network, which is more secure. Data protection में अभी यहाँ पे है कि if you want to soft delete, like if I delete the data by mistakenly, the data will be soft deleted always, and after 7 days it will become permanently deleted. So soft delete is very important to keep this option enabled, because if I accidentally delete anything which I don't want it to, then there will not be data loss. I can recover it later. It is like deleting the file and keeping it in recycle bin. If I delete it, it will go in recycle bin, but recycle bin का I guess 30 days होता है. यहाँ पे it has given you option how many days you want to keep there, and after operation is done, you can automatically delete permanently. Okay. You can also track the versions, like if I have files that I updated, text file I'm talking about. So you can keep the versioning of blobs. You can change the enable the blob change feed. कब किसने कहाँ पे change किया था, everything can be tracked over here. So and we have access control as well. Every version we can provide the access. That is what we can do it with these settings. So we have recovery, we have tracking, and we have access in data protection. Who can access, who can track, or how how we can track basically and how we can recover. So next is the encryption part. So now here are two options again. Microsoft managed keys. See, data whatever you're going to store in hard disks, which is stored in Microsoft wala data center. So it should be encrypted because see, hardware is hardware. It sometimes may get crashed. Okay, so once it is crashed, it is of no use. Then they throw that e-waste into somewhere in the garbage. So if anybody found that garbage hard disks, if they try to recover that data, they will find some data which is encrypted, and then they will not be able to decrypt. So your data is always safe. So that is when whenever storing the data, Microsoft always encrypt it. Now they have given two options, like Microsoft manage key, like खुद के की से encrypt करेंगे, या फिर you provide the keys and then इसे देखो यहाँ पे की का की वॉल्ट दिया है, then you secret key and all. So you provide keys, I'll encrypt it by your way. आपको अगर Microsoft पे Microsoft के की से नहीं जाना है, so you can create your own key and you can encrypt. So that is what you can do. Enable support for customer managed keys. I can choose only blob and files only. I don't want to enable the support for table and queues as of now. Infrastructure encryption. So like this is another level of encryption. This is like file level encryption. It is like infrastructure, like hard disk को ही encrypt कर दिया वापस. So second layer of encryption, I guess it is not needed as of now. So if data is like banking application or so, then you can provide the encryption infrastructure level encryption as well. Okay, lastly we have tags, which is just a name to distinguish. I'm not going to put anything. So lastly we have this particular review where I can see basic में ये था, advanced में these are all settings I chose, data protection ये किया, encryption किया, that's it. So I can go and create, I can download template as well for automation if required in a JSON format. So as of now I'm just going to create directly. So it is initializing the deployment of the storage space. So in few minutes it is in progress. In few minutes it will get deployed in minute or two. Then I'm going to upload a file into my blob, and then I'm going to show you how I can access it. A PDF basically, and I will show you how I can access it. PDF कौन सा? Take amplifiers invoice नहीं. Let me just हाँ, Python का syllabus है मेरे पास, which we will be uploading on cloud, and then we'll see if I'll able to see the same thing. ठीक है? Okay, so deployment details देखो, ये this has been created, operation in detail. Next step मुझे कुछ करना नहीं. Go to the resources option. So I don't want to download anything. I'm going to the resource, which is storage tech amplifier. Now if I go in storage account again, इधर है मेरा storage account here, है ना? So in my storage account there will be two storages. अरे आया नहीं, refresh, हाँ आया. This is my second storage, create in same region, resource group, free trial है, सब कुछ सेंट्रल इंडिया में किया बाबा, वही करना था मेरे को, right? So I'm going in my storage account. So here it is going to show you same thing. So here I can go and upload the files if I wanted to. So how to upload files? Click on this upload, and then you drag and drop. Select an existing container. Container है ही नहीं, तो container बनाना पड़ेगा पहले. ठीक है, तो मैं Azure containers में जा रहा हूँ. Basically when you are uploading files, it has to be uploaded in containers or file shares or queues or table. डायरेक्टली अकाउंट में अपलोड नहीं कर सकते. अकाउंट में देयर आर स्टोरेज सर्विसेज, उसमें अपलोड कर सकते हैं. तो कंटेनर बना रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, टेस्ट कंटेनर, ऐसे ही टेस्ट इज ऑल. सो दे हैव देयर होल सेट ऑफ थिंग्स. एनोनिमस एक्सेस लेवल, तो ये प्राइवेट है ऑलरेडी. मैं एडवांस में जाके उसको यूज एनक्रिप्शन स्कोप नहीं, ये कुछ भी नहीं करना है. ठीक है, आई एम ट्राइंग टू अपलोड. दिस इज कंटेनर आई एम क्रिएटिंग और ट्रेनिंग करता हूँ. This is container is like a box where I can push my data. So logs are stored over here. This is by default created. I have not created it. I'm going inside, and here I can upload. You do not have permission to list data using the Azure account ID. Click on. हाँ ठीक है, बाद में कर लेंगे. ठीक है, I'm trying to upload the data. List नहीं कर सकते हो, ऐसे बोला है उन्होंने. हाँ देखो, overwrite if file already exists. I'm trying to browse and then I'm gonna upload. ठीक है, I'll upload few more files. डाउनलोड्स में से भी चल सकता है. ठीक है, I'll go and upload from desktop only, which I wanted to do. क्या था इस फाइल का नाम, which I just opened, PCEP, right? PCEP, Python certified, whatever. I'm just opening and uploading this particular file. So override file already exists. क्या अपलोड नहीं करने दे रहा है क्या मेरे को? जस्ट अ सेकंड. ब्लॉक साइज 4 MB और टीयर कीज इंडेक्स की एंड वैल्यू नहीं डालना. यूज एग्जिस्टिंग कंटेनर, डिफॉल्ट कंटेनर स्कोप. ठीक है, I'm able to upload. If I choose this override file already exists, so I'm uploading the file. So I failed to upload file. This request not authorized to perform the operation using the this permission. ठीक है, तो मेरे को permission का कुछ issue है, एक second रुकिए. So I can go access control में and view my access. क्या कर सकता हूँ मैं, क्या नहीं कर सकता हूँ, देखना पड़ेगा. Administrator to have full access all the subscription. Eligible assignments. Please check. ठीक है. So there is some problem that has happened, and because of that I'm not able to access. I guess I'm not able to upload the data, but basically that is how we go and upload the data in the container, and we should be able to access it basically. So that is a simple way of uploading the data. Acquire lease, break lease, access policy. Let me just quickly see. Something is I missed. I guess access only. So I can get that access, but I am already having the access, right? But I'm the administrator, na? I'm the administrator, so I should be able to access everything. Okay, so anyway, so basically what I was trying to show you, I'll quickly go into my previous storage account, and here I guess for this I might be able to create. I'm just going in my container. I'm going to create a container called as demo. D chota chahiye unko. Then I'm going to create the container. So here I'm having access. So second जो configuration था उसमें कुछ तो गड़बड़ हो गया, ठीक है. So I'm trying to upload a file over here. So it does not showcase any error. So override advanced में कुछ करना है नहीं. So I'm just browsing the computer and I'm typing PCEP PDF वाला file, and I'm opening the file, and I'll be able to upload. ठीक है, file uploaded successfully. This is file. So now if I want to access the file from outside world, now it is uploaded in the cloud. So if I go and open, I can download, of course I wanted to. So view and edit. Let me just show you. So view, like here on the cloud itself I'm able to view. That is what it is showcasing me. Blob है तो ये PDF format में, उसको कुछ PDF reader है नहीं उनके पास. So I'm just quickly going, and so I'm going inside the file first. ठीक है, तो देखो इसके लिए उन्होंने एक URL दिया है. So this is the URL. I can copy the URL to the Chrome and I can try to access it like this. देखो ये बोल रहा है public access not permitted. Even though this file is publicly uploaded, it is not allowing me to do so. So now what to do? I can generate the SAS. Here is the option to generate SAS. I can generate the SAS token from another option which is directly available here. इधर है generate SAS. So this option will help me to generate a key. तो HTTPS टाइम स्टैम्प दिया है 6 घंटे के लिए अवेलेबल होना चाहिए. रीड ओनली ऑपरेशन है. HTTPS generate SS token in URL. देखो यहाँ पे टोकन बन गया, यहाँ पे URL बन गया. I'm just copying the URL and it is having the token. So basically what exactly after this file name it is going to add question mark and put the token basically. Same thing has been done. I'm clicking enter. So this time you can see that file which was available, now see I'm able to access it from blob.core.windows.net. From this URL I'm able to access this डेमो कंटेनर, एंड डेमो कंटेनर के अंदर से ये वाला फाइल और क्वेश्चन मार्क के बाद ये टोकन जो भी दिया है हमने. ठीक है, सो बेसिकली आई एम सक्सेसफुल एबल टू एक्सेस दिस फाइल publicly basically, which was not available earlier because I was not having this token shared access signature. Access signature was created, and then that is how I was able to access the file. So anything like I have shown you demonstration of PDF, you can upload JPG files and then you can use the URL to get the access. If you want to have the permanent access, then also you can use another keys, and that is how it is going to work. ठीक है, understood? So very simple and configurable way to put the data on cloud, and then it will be available over there throughout the account until unless you don't delete it. Even though if I delete it will be there in my queue for some time. All right, so this is it for the day. So we have covered storage account. We have seen different types of storages. We have also created a new storage account by understanding the settings, क्या क्या करना पड़ता है. Then we have uploaded a file and we are successfully able to access that file with some configuration, secure access signature, and then we are able to access it publicly. These are the basic things that are required in order to understand the file storage. Okay, all right, this is it for today. So tomorrow we are going to see something new, something more interesting, which will help you to build the things in details. Okay, all right, thank you so much guys for joining in. See you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Bye bye.